Hey everyone, what I want to do today is introduce you to Adobe Premiere Pro. This is Adobe's editing software. Now, if you work in academia at a college or a university, something like that, then odds are you have access to the Adobe Creative Cloud. These are, all the programs that Adobe has put together for creators like yourself. Now, if you work for a university or a college, odds are you have access to the Adobe Creative Cloud for free or so cheap that it might as well be free, right? So you can get this stuff. But here's the thing, if you open it for the first time, it can look overwhelming. It is so complicated, so involved. And so if you're new to editing video and so forth, you might look at the Adobe Creative Cloud, Premiere Pro, and get overwhelmed. What I want to do today is show you how you can use it to edit your videos at the most basic level possible. If you have already used Premiere Pro, stop watching this video right now. I am not going to show you anything new. However, if you've never touched it once, or if you opened it and it scared the bejesus out of you and you closed it, stick around. I'm going to show you how to use it. Okay? So, what I'm going to do is let's switch this over. I have this video right here, a video clip that I shot earlier. Note to myself, I want to edit this. So what am I going to do? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and open up Premiere Pro. And it takes a moment. It's pretty involved software, so we'll give it a second. All right, it now says, what do you want to do? Well, I am going to open a new project. Okay, where do you want this new project? It asks. Well, you know what? I'll go ahead for grins and giggles on this one, and we'll put it on my desktop if I can find it. Here we go, right there. I'm going to put it on my desktop, and I'll select that folder. And it says, okay, what do you want to call this? Well, I'll call it Note to Myself Project. Okay, note to myself project. We're all good. At this point, I can just boom, hit OK. All right. So it'll go ahead and open. And at this point, you'll look at it and go, oh my gosh, what do I do with all this? Well, there's a lot you can do with it, but all I'm going to do is show you the most basic elements. So remember, we have this video file right here that we want to edit. So all I'm going to do is take it, and you see down here where it says import media to start. Well, all we need to do is drag it. We dragged it in, it's good to go. All right, so we don't need that folder anymore. Okay, so we have this media file here. By the way, we know that it is both video and audio because that little purple sort of film thing you see there, that says it's video. And this little green audio file you see, that says it has audio. All right, I want to edit this. So how am I going to do that? Well, you see right here where it says drop media here to create sequence. Well, we're going to take this, drag it over, and boom, we have just created a sequence called Note to Myself. It just automatically created the sequence. Now, what's a sequence? Well, a sequence is basically the project that you're putting together. You can add audio, graphics, animation, multiple video files, and so forth. We're going to show all that to you later on, but right now we are just doing the bare bones basic. I know from this sequence that I want to cut off something from the front and I want to cut off something from the end. All right, so how am I going to do that? Well, first of all, I'm going to put on my headphones so I can hear this. It's always better to edit with headphones. You can hear things a little bit better. So if I just hit play here, I can go ahead and start playing the file that's in this sequence. Incidentally, you can also hit the space bar and that will turn it on and off the play. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay, note to myself. Now, I already know that I don't want all this beginning stuff, so I want to cut it off. So I'm going to actually zoom up on this file a little bit so I can see it a little better. If I hold down the Alt key and then scroll with my mouse wheel, I can zoom up on this clip. So watch this. Holding down the Alt key, and I'm using the mouse scroll wheel, and lo and behold, I can scroll in and out. Okay. Now, another thing I can do is I want to see the audio file a little bit better because I know that'll tell me where I start talking and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this down. Now I can see the audio file really well. Okay. Now I know for a fact that I want to pick up the video right about there. This is where I want the video to really start, and I don't want any of this stuff before it. Well, what can I do? I have a couple of options. Since I'm just pulling stuff in, I can put my mouse cursor over on the end there, and you see where it turned into a red arrow? I can just pull that in, and lo and behold, I'm all set. I can go ahead and start hitting play, note to myself, and I know that's where I want it. But now, there's another option as well. I just hit Command Z to undo that. I can put it about where I want it, okay? And I can take this razor tool. It's called the razor tool. Hey, C for cut. So I go ahead and take that. I put it over where I want to cut my sequence, cut, and then I pull this tool back, the selection tool. I now have two files. I just took a razor blade and cut the two in half, okay? And I know that I don't want this stuff. This was all garbage. So I just hit delete. Boom, delete, and I'm good to go. So now what I can do is I can drag this over back to where the start is. But I want to make sure the start is exactly where I want it. So I'm going to zoom up, pull myself over, and I'm going to say, okay, where do I want to start? Well, I know there's a breath there. I'll go over this later on, but there's a breath there that I don't like. So I'm going to pull that in, pull that over a bit. Oh, come along, you. There we go. And now I know that when I hit play, it's going to be where I want it. Note to myself. As a college professor, it's really okay. And it goes on and on. Now I want to cut off the end as well. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key again and use the scroll wheel to bring all this in. And you already know, well, the way I can do this is just pull it in. So knowledge that you want them to. So work on it. We'll see you later. All right, right there's good. So again, I could go ahead and cut it, but I don't need to. I'm going to just pull this in. Boom. This video clip, this sequence now is where I want it. Okay, what do I do now? Well, now I need to export it so I can load it into YouTube or onto our LMS and so forth. So I'm going to come up here to File, and I'm going to go to Export and Export Media Clip. And this window comes up. Now, later on, I'll show you all the export settings, and you can play with it if you want. But right now, we're just going to leave it at H.264 match media match source. It basically is going to export it to be the same kind of media file that you imported in the first place. All right. We're not going to mess with anything else for this example. But what I can do now is right here, this is the output name, and this will tell me where I want it. So click on that. Here's the output name. I can go note to myself, export file. And where do I want it? Well, I'll go ahead and put it on the desktop. That's where it says right now. So that's just fine, but I could change where I want to put this export file if I wanted to. Save, and then, yeah, hit export. And now it's going to go ahead and start exporting. It takes a minute or so with a file this size. It's not that big, but you get the idea. And lo and behold, you now have a file that you can load onto YouTube or onto your LMS or something like that. That is as simple as you can get for Adobe Premiere Pro. And as you saw, it wasn't all that complicated. So all those scary bells and whistles and so forth, for now, we can ignore those and just use the bare bone basic properties of this program. Okay? I hope this was helpful. Stick around. We'll go over more. In the meantime, have a great day, and we'll see you later.